What's up, guys? Nightingale here, bringing you something a little bit different. So actually, it's kind of going over Super Awakenings is really what I want to get down to. It's been 2 weeks as of today. It's Tuesday, December 8th, 2020, and we've had Super Awakening now for 2 weeks, and I thought about coming over and doing a video and kind of going over my box, why I've Super Awakened characters, who I've Super Awakened, and maybe help some of you newer players who never played JP, trying to come in and figure out what Super Awakening is all about and who and why I've Super Awakened units to maybe help you decide who you should Super Awaken. So I've unfavorited all my units just so that my box sits natural. So we're going to start with the top unit here, which is Goddess Elizabeth. So this is pretty much one of those no-brainer units. We 6-6'd her. So this was like, okay, this is a festival unit you're going to invest heavily into. So I Super Awakened her, 1 for Tower of Trials, 2 for PvP, 3 for some Knighthood boss stuff. This is pretty much a no-brainer of why I did it. Should newer players who only have a 1 or 2 6 alt, should you Super Awaken? Maybe. It's going to be a little more expensive right away for you, being that the next time you're going to be able to select Goddess Elizabeth is on the 1 Escanor banner, maybe King, if they change it around. But basically, it's going to be a while before you can select Elizabeth, unless you happen to have a 6-6 LV melee and you have 3 Meliodas coins, then sure, you might be able to say, I can pull up another dupe, but for most people, you're probably going to end up 4-6ing her or doing her 4-star Super Awakens well before you get the 6 out of 6 dupes at this point. So she was kind of like one of those no-brainers. Here's one I think a lot of y'all are gonna be like, really? Okay, hear me out, all right? First off, for those of you who come and hang out in my Twitch chats, you know that I adore Jenna, and I use her every day in Red Hell Demons. She's there on the front lines. It's very rare for her to get put in the back line. I just enjoy her kit, the way she works. This was a character I 6-6'd on the original Valentine's banner, so before y'all say it's off the new one, no, I've had her 6-6 since she was released. I skipped Lost Vein for this, and I'm highly, highly grateful I did. The investment cost into her is negligible for what she's provided back to me in my account as terms of worth, so this was a no-brainer, plus I wanted to flex and see how hard she could hit. With a 6-6 alt, I've got attack defense gear on her. I mean, it's not the best rolled stuff in the world. Ignore this. This was why I ordered gear. We just randomly rolled that. Like, no joke. That was like 2 hammers and it was that. But yeah, I mean, I've got pretty good attack stat on her, and I'm like, I think I might be able to hit near a mil. Like, maybe 750k, 800k I might be able to hit with her alt. Plus, you know, I use it for this and all that, so I Super Awakened my Jenna. Should you? Probably not. I did, but that's just because I felt like this was a must for me. Next up, Green Derriere. Now, there are 2 sides to this coin. My first side is, I don't need Red Derriere's 4-star Super Awakened right now. Because I had 6-6 Derriere on her banner, unintentionally, it was not after this unit, 1,500 gems in, and I pulled 1 red. 8 green, 1 red. I felt like with Goddess Elizabeth and her link, being that she's the best link for her, plus being 6-6, and I can meme around with her in Grey Hell Demons, this was kind of a no-brainer for me. If I were you, I would say more people are more likely to or should invest into the Red Derriere, but that's because you shouldn't have a 6-6 coin shop Green Derriere for most players. Whales are excluded, or people who just love the Green Derriere are excluded. But for the average player of 7 Deadly Sins, you really shouldn't have the green one Super Awakened. The red one is the better unit of the 2, or the more useful one. But for me, I decided to do this one just because of the 6/6 ult, and so helping boost Goddess Elizabeth. That's why I did this one over red. So I juggled the Escanors. I actually struggled between which one I was going to Super Awaken. It came down to this one was 6/6 first. I'm still waiting on one more dupe for Red Escanor, and then I might someday throw the 4-star Super Awakening on him. But I felt like with what he could be used for and his enormous CC, now mine's not fully built, keep in mind, so that's why my CC is lower than probably some of the other Escanors you've seen. I haven't invested into his cosmetics, and his UR set isn't rolled that well, but he's still clicking 51,000 CC with decently rolled gear and hardly, if any, cosmetic upgrades. But I'd figured between whatever content I'd be using him for, plus the fact that he's such a high CC unit, it made a good association character as well. And for newer players, this is a heavy-hitting Escanor. There's going to be a lot of content you can clear with this guy. So it kind of made sense for him to be one of my earlier Super Awakenings. This one I did maybe a little prematurely, but at the same time, I'm really glad I've done it. Here's another one of my main Red Demon units. I bring Arthur along for so many things. And I'm actually thankful I've done it because I've been able to prove that you can hit 1 mil with this card. Yeah, I hit 1 million damage on a singular gold card. Now, yes, the stars had to align for that, but it's still possible. And with Meliodas' attack crit damage set, the one I have on my Lost Vein, he was able to hit the 1 mil club. Yes, it required me to Super Awaken him. Yes, he can go higher at this point, but it seemed like a good investment for me in helping speed through Red Hell Demons, and just because I wanted to really see. It could have maxed out Arthur, really hit 1 mil. And yes, with his ult and now with a gold card, I can put him in the 1 mil club, and it's really, really awesome that he can do this. Next up, Lost Vein Meliodas. Yeah, I win it. I spent the extra coins just because I know I'm not going to pull on the Wing King banner, so there is 0 chance of me in the next... Let's just put it this way. I'm not summoning on any banner or any festival banner until March, the 1-year anniversary for Global. So, whoever that is, we're not going to argue about who it is. Y'all have heard my opinions on stream. I hear yours in stream. But for me, I went ahead and took the extra coin cost and 4-star Super Awakened Lost Vein Meliodas, also for Knighthood boss. That was the main reason I did it, so that he could live through it, just to be able to do that content. PvP, it's a meme for me. It's... I don't really need... I don't need it. It helps in my CC number, but most people forfeit when they see my team. It's just what it is. But overall, though, it does help him, and it's a nerf. So there's the double-edged sword. I don't care. I'd rather get the stats off of it. Yes, my Meliodas is really low on CC before you guys rip me in chat that I don't have a 50-something thousand CC, at least a 50,000 CC Meliodas. Keep in mind, he's 1/6. I'll get there eventually. Probably before or maybe after his heyday's over with, but that's fine. I just 1/6 him at the end of the Liz banner, and I use him occasionally. Marmus. Most people shouldn't do this. Those of you who know why I did this, you're awesome. I hear Kabuki in the background. Just going, and his name was Marmite. Okay. Anyway. So I did this I did this on stream to keep him alive, when we were trying the, what was it? Bond. We were trying to get Bond to hit 1 mil, and I just wanted to make sure that my Marmus, could stay through the fight. Plus, it will help out with Knighthood boss and things like that. So I wanted the extra, CC on him. Plus, I mean, it really wasn't that bad. Being an R unit, he's really, really cheap. Do I recommend new players to immediately jump in and, do this for Marmus? No. But look at your team, see if he benefits what you're doing. For me, he benefited a couple different things, so sure, I went ahead and did it. Merlin. So I struggled with this one. I really did. I wanted to do Blue Merlin because she's the highest CC Merlin, but then I had to think about Tower of Trials. I had to think about PvP, and I had to think about practicality of usage of units. And pretty much where I came out in the decision was this Merlin's a little more useful to me in the grand scheme of things right now, to where I can stall out some time to super awaken my blue one eventually to have the better association link for Arthur, for Meliodas, and some of it, the Demon Meliodas, and for Escanor. But this one gave me more practical use right away. So this was definitely a day one super awaken for me. But I had to think about it because I was really wanting to I was leaning back and forth. Do I do the better link or do I do the better unit? And I picked the better unit for this. But overall, with, having a 6/6 coin shot Merlin at this point, this felt like this was the best decision. Now, all my Merlins are 6/6, but as far as my use, what I plan to be using her for, this was the better usage unit for me. Okay, this one I've got no excuse for other than chat said I wouldn't do it and I did it immediately. Do I regret it? Not one bit, because guess what? Gil Thunder doesn't die in Great Demons anymore. And Gil Thunder actually does damage. He really does damage. Now, is he like king level damage? No. Is he like Jericho level damage? No. Try thinking like mid of the tier. Like his ult at 6/6 super awakened with somebody's random gear. Like, I don't even know. Does he even have gear on him? No, not even right now. But with somebody's random gear on him, he can hit for like 300, 400k. We're talking like an Escanor ult, by the way. Like a non-super awakened 6/6 Escanor ult hits for like 400k. I pop this ult off and I'm hitting for like 350 super awakened. Like, he actually kind of does damage now. But mainly I did it because they said I wouldn't, and then turns out my Gil Thunder doesn't die anymore. Like, I would occasionally have Gil Thunder get really low on HP. Now he doesn't even, now he rarely gets half HP. So it really was a useful thing. He's a slightly cheaper one. Do I recommend you initially do it? No. Plus it was a double-edged sword because I kind of wanted to do it for his passive and taking him into PvP and messing around with that. So the extra CC did help me there, but would I recommend you guys doing this right away? I don't know. It kind of depends on where you're at on your account. If you're running, specifically if you're running the King variation of Return of the King, you might want the extra HP and defense, which really helps out. So it's kind of your call. But for me, chat said I wouldn't, and I did it immediately. That's my excuse. All right. So yes, I did spend the extra coin on him, and I unlocked his ult. Being what Halloween Gother is, absolutely, this was without a shadow of a doubt a unit that I did. Specifically for Tower of the Trials was what I was after, and also for Knighthood Boss is why I did this. But I also did slightly struggle with, was I going to do Red Gother first, since my Red Gother is 6/6, which we'll cover in just a second. He's the next unit up. But I decided that if I'm going to put down one unit right now, this is the unit I use more, so I'd rather eat the one platinum coin difference and just go ahead and get him over with. And I don't regret it. His CC is a little bit lower than my red one, but it's okay. I understand. I only have a 3/6 ult. It's what I got when I pulled on the King of Fighter collab, so it's just I'm sitting at what I'm there. I know the banner's out now. I don't plan on pulling on it, but that's fine. I'll catch up to him someday. So now let's talk about Red Gother. So I 6/6'd him a good bit, about a month ago. I 6/6'd him, slightly higher in CC. He's got his attack or his HP defense set on him, so that's why his CC is much higher. But I felt like with wanting to mess around with some stuff, I went ahead and ended up doing him as well. I think it ended up being like about 1,000 CC difference between the two. So it's not that big of a difference, but for the few things that I was doing, especially with Hell Demons, I felt like, you know what? I can eat the 7 plat coins that I had laying around for it. So I went ahead and did it. Screw it. I didn't care. This was one of my most recent Super Awaken. So he just recently got his 4-star. King was one of my day ones because this was one I was very, 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 very curious. Now, I've had a 6/6 King for a few months. Actually, I think if you go back to all my Kings and Hell Demons, they've all been 6/6 in any of my demon videos. We'd known he could get close to the 1 mil number, so it was instantly one of those things of, I've got to do it for science. Now, yes, Blue King is technically the better one to Super Awaken right away, but because my focus isn't PvP, or isn't massively high scores on things, I said, screw it, I'm going to do my Green King, because I use him near daily. It depends on RNG, on Weebs' in, or if I do Chat's Demons, if they've got Grays. But when my Grays come around, this is my unit. Hands down, 99% of the time. This is who I'm using. So I picked this, and I felt the investment was worth it. You don't probably have to Super Awaken your King, so you guys may want to do your Blue King instead, which is completely, totally fine and respectable. I just, with the way I play, this was my decision. Worked out for me. And last but not least, we're going to end it on my favorite unit. Literally, I think this is my first Super Awaken. Might have been the second. She is my highest CC unit. You guys know that I am super proud of Deanne, and this was basically, this was my simp. This is why I did it. It was almost chat law that I had to do it. You guys probably shouldn't do it. I've tried using Deanne and Knighthood Boss. It's not working too well for me right now. I'm going to still keep working on teams and whatnot. Maybe once I Super Awaken Matrona someday, I'll attempt it again with Deanne and Knighthood Boss, but it did help me in Final Boss, Taizu, Twigo, and Walio. I did do well. I made it into the top, almost top 100 with my Deanne. I'm one of the few ones that run attack defense. Her gear was getting ready to roll for the red one, but I ended up not pulling for the red Deanne because Netmarble screwed the pooch on that one and messed up her banner. So, which is actually this banner, but that's a whole other video, which I'm not gonna do. But yeah, my Deanne's loaded, as you guys know and see on chat and Twitch. But I would never recommend most people do this right away. But she is my highest CC unit by 900 CC. So really humorous that my Deanne is actually carrying me this hard. So I know where I think we're about, like, I think it looks like it's 18 minutes in. I'm gonna go over a couple more things. So that's the units I've done. Now I'm gonna go over a couple units that I'm looking at doing in the future. And I'll kind of explain why. So, because I'm curious, I really want to Super Awaken SR Aaron. I want to take a look at this Aaron and see kind of what his value comes out of with the Super Awakening. It's a little bit cheaper because he is an SR, so I do want to eventually look at how much more does he improve with these stats? Because he's a great unit overall, and being that he was given to us for free, and most of us should have him 6/6, newer players, you unfortunately, you're not going to have Aaron if you came in after Attack on Titan. But I still feel like with how he's built and what his kit's running around with, I'd like to check him out and invest in him a little bit more and see what's going on. Next up is Valenti. I'm very curious as to what Valenti's kit can bring out. I'm very curious for her attack stats. I just recently 6/6'd her on the Goddess Liz banner, so it does kind of make sense for me to do this. Plus, I could use her in PvP a little bit here in the future. But I just kind of wanted to see what I'm curious. I think she's got some potential for Hell Demon Super Awakened, and as a unit in herself, and just in general. So there's a couple questions of maybe, why not? So I'm looking at eventually investing in her in the future. Red Escanor, I don't really think I'm going to. I don't use this enough in Hell Demons to Super Awaken him, but I am curious if he can hit the 1 mil club. So I'm waiting on Radio to Super Awaken his unit. Another unit that I'm very interested in Super Awakening, another Deanne. Who would have thought? With the 1 coming, I'm highly considering doing this unit. She's the 2nd best unit to Super Awaken for King. The best unit is the blue one, which I do have 6/6 as well. But if I'm gonna try to be practical with my account, it's probably needing to be the green one for now. So I'm definitely considering that. I'm going ahead and considering Matrona because I did invest so heavily into Matrona. We leveled up a lot of her stuff. We gave her UR gear. Like I said, I was ready to roll in the giant gang team, but things changed. So I might just go ahead and honor her and give her the 4-star with a 6/6 there. For those of you who come in and see my demons, you know this is coming. Someday, I'll do it. Someday, I will do it. So I would never recommend anybody else to do this. And then the potential of Lilia, I'm not sure. I 4/6'd her. I went ahead and spent the coins after pulling on the banner. I'm debating if I'll need her. I know there's some content coming where we're going to need the Lilia, so the extra stats would definitely carry me a good way. We're talking 10,000 extra HP. Her attack's a little bit low, but she gets the extra HP, so this really helps her out a good bit. So I'm considering her. And then this will make Mumble happy. I'm considering doing Fraldrin as well, since I did finish him. I think if I'm going to eventual slow roll into this Mega Whale unit, I mean, I'm pretty much there. I've got max roll, near max roll, max roll, max roll, almost max roll. Pieces, they just need to be actually rolled with anvils at this point. So he's setting up for it. So I might someday do this. He'd be one of the higher CC units in the game. Actually, I think he is the highest CC unit in the game. Once you fully deck him out and perfect roll him, I think he is the highest. But yeah, I'm considering Fraldrin. I would never recommend normal players do that. And I'll make, here really quickly, a couple recommendations for newer players coming in who have the means to do it. I definitely recommend Jericho. She would be a great one for newer players to think about Super Awakening later on. She can hit like a truck. She's getting some changes to her kit, which is going to make her really viable for a few different things. Plus Knighthood Boss will help you with high score there. If you're going to be doing an Arthur, I would probably recommend do the red Arthur just because of his utility with the buff, Hell Demons, and this is probably the better Arthur for most newer players to do because he's an easy unit to get 6/6. I could recommend Red Demon Meliodas to a point, but I cannot recommend it more than doing blue. So if you are going to invest into the Pierce comp, please do consider Super Awakening Meliodas. And let's see here. Anybody else that I feel that you should consider Super Awakening? I think that is it. For right now, with what we have on Global... so I'll go with the units that I don't have. If you do pull Green Droll, he's definitely a good consideration. And Red Zeldris would be another good one. I would recommend you Super Awaken this one over Super Awaken Red Zeldris over Blue Zeldris. And that does remind me, while I am here, for those of you who do enjoy him, Green Esterosa would be another great unit for you guys to Super Awaken. So there you go. That's kind of my account overview of what I decided to Super Awaken in the first 2 weeks. Now, obviously, I'm pretty much spent on coins all the way around, so it's going to be quite a while. Do remember that now, through events and everything, you'll be able to get a lot of Super Awakening coins. Make sure you check into your knighthoods. You could buy 3 coins a week. I hope they change that to daily. That would be so much better. Just let us purge our coins and be done with it. But through events and everything, we should be getting a good amount of Super Awakening coins, which will really, really help out in the economy of doing Super Awakenings, especially with them speeding content along, and really be able to go from there. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed this. Make sure to subscribe if you'd like to stay up to date with the latest and greatest content on the channel. If you want to come hang out with me live, my link is down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.